Yo, how's it going, guys? It's Richard Unicorn Caller here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We are back, and also happy Black History Month. We are here with a brand new teaser from Wizard101. It was first kind of revealed Thursday during the KI Live. I didn't really watch it. I keep forgetting about the KI Live, but I wanted to make this video for the longest time. Been live streaming lately, been pretty busy. So let's jump right into it. And we also have the help of Copilot, which is like apparently like some integrated AI thing. I mean, for the looks of it, it looks accurate, but we'll do our own judgment for that. So let's jump right into it and to do all the news. Let me just move my big fat head. I know my head is in the way. But over here we got the KI Live rundown from Atmoplex. And the live stream was only about like 30-ish minutes long. And they did mention how that's basically how the KI Lives are going to go now. They're going to be a little bit shorter instead of just being an hour long and then just being dragged out and nothing really happening. And honestly, I really do like it. I think 30 minutes or less, or even 40 minutes, I think that's a respectable time, because it does take time to kind of prepare for a live stream. I would know because I multi-stream, and it is a lot to process and to do. But yeah, I like this new direction that they're going into with the KI Live. And of course, we got that nice little free code. If you haven't already, make sure to redeem that at a chance to get some nice little goodies. If you type in Super New Year 126, you can get some nice little goodies. I don't know when the code will expire, so just type that in whenever. But yeah, I didn't really notice much for the rundown besides the teaser, which looks really cool. But there are a few things that did interest me a lot. And number one is a Minion rework. It's coming soon, which absolutely is fantastic. You guys know how much I love Minions. I think that would be really cool to have. I'll put my face back in so you can see my excitement, and I'll just shrink it so you can read the whole text. But yeah, a Minion rework for Wizard101 would be really cool. I feel like minions are like one of these things that are like underrated, and they kind of stopped doing it over time. I think the last minion quest I could remember was the Make-A-Wish Brandon quest, and Brandon is a really powerful minion, but it would be really cool to just see how further KI can go with minions. Because if so, that might make solo play a little bit easier if we had like a really powerful minion on our side. And obviously you could summon in henchmen with crowns and stuff like that. But that's besides the point. It would be cool to kind of see them go back into minions and see what they do with that. Now there's a little typo or a little mishap from Atmoplex. Exploring merging EU with the US. This was mistook for merging with the whole EU servers. I'll explain it in a bit. But over here, clarification, Joel said they're internally exploring merging the EU servers right now. So they're just talking about EU servers. They're still not talking about EU with the US. They are not doing that, right? And they've talked about that for a couple of years now. I'm sure there will be a lot of complications, probably like region complications with that. I know that's been a dream for, well, at least in my eyes. I know some people wouldn't actually like the Wizard101 Europe to be with the Wizard101 NA servers, or at least make it into a global worldwide server, because apparently EU players got, I guess, cheaper gear, or they got exclusive items. I personally don't care. I'm more of the guy that likes to be accessible. Accessibility is key for me. So I don't care what they do with EA. If they were to put EU with, if I said EA, if they put the EU servers with NA, I mean, I think that would be cool, because then they could be caught up with the updates. But for KI's defense, it probably takes a lot of technology, takes a lot of resources, it takes a lot of knowledge, and it takes a lot of humps, a lot of stuff, you know, because it is a regional thing. But you know, they were just talking about, you know, kind of merging the EU servers together into one so that it's a little bit better. They aren't ready to publicly discuss merging EU servers with the US servers found the implication there, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that's what's going on with EU. So hopefully Wizard101 Europe does get Darkmoor soon, which I would imagine maybe around the spring. We'll see, and I'll keep you guys posted and see what anything else about that. They've also discussed the idea of realms/areas with advanced combat rules, which is also pretty cool. And Portal Apparel is coming back soon, which we had predicted. So yeah, that should be really cool. And hopefully Portal Apparel does not break again. For those of you that don't know what Portal Apparel is, it was this really cool event that they had. You know, anybody could do it. I think up to level 30 could do it. And it was really fun. They had a lot of cool rewards. You could meet new players, and you basically just do team-ups of these old dungeons and gauntlets or whatever. It was really cool, and it was probably one of their best events they made in a while. However, it was untested, it was riddled with bugs, and it was a whole process. They just had to keep taking it in and out, taking it back out of the oven, putting it back in the oven, put it back in the oven. So we haven't seen it in a couple of months, or what it feels like almost a year at this point. So I'm just hoping that if they do reintroduce it for the spring update, I really do hope that they are really taking their time and that they are testing every single thing, because every time we've had this event, somehow there's always a bug, and when it is there, sometimes it even affects like the main gameplay of the game, which is a big no-no. So I'm just really hoping they put the whole dev team on this, because I do want this event to work. I think a lot of people want this event to work, but the way that we've seen it so far has been really sad. And it would also be cool for console players to experience this event as well, because this is one of the very few things that you can do as a free-to-play player. You know, you probably have the chance to experience these gauntlets, because you also gotta remember that Wizard101 on console has no way of getting any of the gift card bundles on their console yet. They haven't integrated a system for that yet. So this could basically be new content for those Wizard101 console players. But only if KI nails this down. And hopefully no bugs or no glitches or anything like that. And it also might depend on if KI would even implement the Portal Apparel on Wizard101 console. Because again, those updates for Wizard101 console has to get approved, which could take months. So yeah, it is a whole process. When it comes to Wizard101, it is a whole process. Okay? It's a whole process playing this game, man. You just get used to it. You learn to get used to it, man. But moving on from that, I'm excited for the Portal Apparel coming back soon. And of course, we have a new teaser. Say. I'm not going to pronounce that, because I know I'm going to butcher it, and I don't want to do that. So if you are good with pronunciations like that, check that out. But it looks really cool. This is sick. I always love their art team. It looks absolutely fantastic. Look at this. This is dope. That's cool. We have like a little inside shell, and then revealed from the inside, or the outside shell, inside the shell, we have this cool little looking beast. That's cool. That's really cool. So there are a few things, and of course I got this little co-pilot thing. We're just gonna use it as like a template. We don't care much about AI, but it did a really good job kind of condensing everything down. And you can do this on your own laptop if you want, but strong association with AZTECA, we already know that. Some people are saying it looks like a ghost version of AZTECA or whatever. Maybe a return to Skull Island, or maybe it's a Skull Island related theme. Maybe it's going to be an AZTECA Gauntlet, an AZTECA Revisit, blah, blah, blah. Possible meaning of the word, blah, blah, blah. It's based off of the AZTECA lore. You'll have to do your own little lore digging about that. You know, it could be a new gauntlet. It could be related to magic weaving. It could also be related to the Guild Museum, because maybe the Guild Museum might be getting some AZTECA sculptures or some AZTECA stuff that you can do with your own guild. So maybe we could be doing that, or anything else. Maybe it could be related to the potential new world that we could be getting all the way in November. I highly doubt that, but I think that would be pretty cool. Either way, I'm excited. It could be anything. I'm excited. I wanted to share with you guys the timeline of Wizard101 updates, and usually like the typical content that we typically see, which is always subject to change, but over the past of a couple of years, this has basically been the pattern. And at least in my own eyes, in the spring update, which is usually like the first update, the first big update that we get of the year, it's usually some quality of life change. For example, when cantrips were released, nobody really knew what cantrips are. There's still people out there that don't know what cantrips are. I don't know why, right? But it could be that, or maybe a new gauntlet or something like that. Maybe a new key boss. I have no idea. That's typically what I see around those areas of the month, right? In spring. Maybe this could be something completely different. And then usually in the summer update, we lately have been getting a new raid, which has also been pretty fun. Of course, if you're not someone in a guild, or you're not someone that's interested in raids, then the summer update will probably just be something that you can completely ignore. And then, usually in the November update, which is the winter update, that's usually when we get probably the biggest update of the year, when we get level cap increases, new world spells, and of course, a brand new world, right? That's usually the timeline I see it as. I could be completely wrong, and it could be completely different. And maybe I'm way off. Maybe this is something else. But I think it is pretty interesting that we are getting some sort of AZTECA themed related content back. Oh, you know what I also just realized, chat? You know what I also just realized? What if this could potentially be AZTECA challenge mode, or AZTECA gauntlet, like we just said recently? Maybe the AZTECA gauntlet. I have no idea. We don't know. But it's still pretty cool to think about. So who knows? Who knows? But we'll see what happens in the future for other tweets, and we'll just wait for other teasers. But in my opinion, I think that would be really cool to see. I really am excited though for this year. I mean, I say that a lot. I mean, as I get older, I kind of get a little bicker about this game. I get a little prickly about this game. But honestly, I'm excited. You know, I really like the Darkmoor update. Besides the crafting rug pull that they did for literally zero reason. I still don't know why they did that. I don't know why. But that pretty much killed it for me. But overall, Darkmoor as a whole, I had fun with. I love the storyline for it. I love the difficulty of it. I thought that was really cool. And I love challenge mode. You guys know I love challenge mode. I always love challenge mode. But, you know, the whole crafting situation, I just was not a big fan of. And I'm really hoping that with this entire year that they have, and I'm hoping with all the update that they have gotten through the update feedback channel in Discord, I really hope that they're taking all of that to heart and they can put all of that stuff in for the next world that we get, that will most likely have a crafting recipe and that will have reagents. Like, if you want to make ground reagents, that's fine. But don't just go in a month later and be like, oh, we're just going to take away the reagents out of the recipe. Like, don't do that. Like, you have all the time in the world right now to figure that out. Y'all can sit down and figure it out. Okay? It does not take a month of launch to figure that out. Okay? So sit down, talk about it, and stick to that plan. Because if you do it in a month and you just rug pull everybody, then what's the point of really crafting gear anymore? You know, like, I'm willing to I keep giving this game a chance, but like, dude, there was zero reason for that. So don't do it again. Just stick to a model and stay with it. I don't care if it takes 500 of a reagent to make a certain item. I don't care about that. If you want, look, we got disconnect for inactivity. The game is telling me to get off. Like, I don't care if you want to do 500 of a reagent. I don't care, right? I don't care if I have to do the dungeon 500 times. I don't care. But when you go into it 1 month after launch and you rug pull it and say, oh, hey, you don't need the 500 reagents anymore. We're going to take that out of the recipe. Don't do that. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You're literally just doing that for no gain. If anything, that update upset a lot of players than for good. So again, y'all have this entire of 2026 to figure this out so that when it does launch, that doesn't happen again. So don't do it. I think the main reason they got rid of Icar was they said, oh, it wasn't dropping from bosses. Okay, so now you know what to do for the next world. So do that. I don't understand why they make this so difficult to understand. Like, I don't know the technology process of it, but I'm giving y'all the words here. Like, y'all know what to do now, so do it now. And get ahead of the curve. And don't just rug pull it 1 month and be like, oh, sorry guys, we're just gonna change it. Like, don't do that. Like, I can't tell you how much that frustrated me and a lot of players. We just run around farming Icar for like literally no reason. Like, that was not cool. So don't do it again. So like I said, I'm excited for new content that comes out for this game. But like I said, just, you have time to figure this stuff out. I'm not rushing you. You got bro, I don't even care if it takes y'all 5 years to figure this out, dude. I'm still gonna play the game. I think that's what they don't understand. People are still gonna play this game. Like, take as much time as it possibly needs to be. I don't care. Like, it's not this difficult. It really is not this difficult, but they make it really difficult. But that ends my tangent and rant. Let me know if you're excited about this teaser for AZTECA or whatever it is. We don't know what it is. Who knows? We don't know. But I would love to know your guys' thoughts about it in the comments below. My name is Wizard101, and until then, peace out.